What's up everyone? Welcome back to the shop. We just got back from the Ohio River. Today we're going to talk about the recap from the BFL at Tanner's Creek. It was the third BFL of the year. We were sitting in 8th in the points and headed to Tanner's Creek, which is over near Cincinnati. It's Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Ohio River fishing, so it's shallow water. There's some main river stuff, there's some creeks. We wanted to explore a little bit of everything and see what worked best for us and then commit to something in the tournament. And so that's what we did. We went and practiced. It was, from what I understand, it was blown out about a week and a half before we got there from heavy rains and stuff. But by the time we got there, the water had pretty much cleared up. It was looking a lot better. It was very fishable. And honestly, it may have made the fishing better just because some of those fish weren't really necessarily messed with while it was blown out. For the most part, I just kept it simple, just like any other river tournament. I go into some creeks, check those out, looking at the water quality and also looking for bait fish. There's a lot of little bitty bait fish that you see flickering around. There's some bigger bait fish, but then there's also that little bitty, almost like fry bait fish as well. So I was kind of going into these creeks, checking them out, seeing which ones had the most bait, which ones had the best water quality. Some of the Ohio River creeks, when they're real stagnant, they'll get like an algae on them and things like that. So all that type of stuff I was looking for in practice. Day one of practice, I started in a creek and I got a bunch of bites, really. They were biting pretty good and really had a lot of confidence after day one of practice just because I had so many bites. I mean, it wasn't anything crazy, but for the Ohio River standards, it was pretty good. It gave me a little bit of confidence, allowed me to go expand on that and check out some other creeks and see if I liked those as well. See if it was just the whole river they were biting or if it was just that one creek in that one particular day. So day two of practice, I checked out a lot more main river stuff and I checked out 3 or 4 more creeks. Never really got anything going. I think the fishing in general was just tougher on Friday. I'm not sure why, if it was just the water level or what, but I didn't really get many bites on Friday, so I kind of basically going to the tournament just wanted to stick with what I found on Thursday and go into that creek and just flip around, throw buzzbait, throw spinnerbait, things like that, and just make sure that I was staying in one area and fishing something that I was confident in and fishing what was in front of me rather than running around from creek to creek or running around from spot to spot on the main river. I wanted to stay with what I had confidence in and keep it simple and hopefully get a few fish in the boat. Ended up, I was the last boat out. I was boat 112 on tournament day. So I ended up running downriver to the creek I was planning on fishing, and I got in there and there was a ton of boats. So obviously a bunch of other people had gotten bites in there, and it was a very popular area because I actually got into the creek and there was probably 10 boats within sight. So I just picked an open bank and started fishing, flipping down the bank. I was throwing a Zoom speed crawl in green pumpkin, and I had that paired with a 1/4 ounce TMO tackle, tungsten weight, and I had that pegged. And the reason I had that pegged is I was flipping it around lay down stumps. I wanted the speed crawl to stay with the tungsten weight whenever I flipped it into some of those areas. So I flipped that around. I also flipped the tube around a little bit, and I just kind of went down any good looking banks where there wasn't other boats on it and just started flipping and ended up catching 3 of them right off the bat. I had 3 fish probably by 8 o'clock. We launched at 6 o'clock. I probably didn't get to my starting spot till 6:45 or so. So ended up fishing probably an hour and had 3 keepers. So I had a lot of confidence. I went and kind of expanded on some of my areas, went farther back in the creek than I normally would have, but it didn't really pan out. I probably should have stayed where those fish were biting at the time. And but that's how it goes sometimes. When you look back on things, you realize you should have done things differently. But I should have stayed where those fish were biting rather than trying to go way up the creek and get another bite that way. But anyway, came back out and fished some more areas and ended up having another one that bit about 9:45, and that was actually my biggest keeper. It was probably 1.75 to 2 pounds, and that really helped me out a bunch. So at that point I had a lot of confidence. It was 9:45, I had till 3 o'clock, and it just didn't pan out. I mean, I fished back through some areas, I fished some new areas, I did pretty much everything I thought I needed to do and stayed confident in order to get that fifth bite, and I just never got it. My co-angler missed a really nice one at the end of the day, but it just didn't pan out. I really thought by having 4 keepers by 9:45 that I was really gonna have another chance at least another keeper and hopefully have a limit, but like I said, it just didn't. Sometimes you just don't get that bite, and sometimes it doesn't work out the way you want to. As far as fishing tackle, I kind of touched on some of this already, but in practice I had a few bites on Friday on a buzzbait. I think I had like 3 keepers on a buzzbait, just kind of burning down the bank, covering water, trying to get to the next spot. Really was not really intending on catching any fish in those areas, just kind of put the trolling motor on high to get out of a creek, and had 3 keeper bites on that buzzbait. But then my co-angler caught one, Tommy caught one on a buzzbait right away, like probably within the first 5 minutes of us getting into the creek we were fishing, and it was a pretty nice one as well. But he caught that on a buzzbait right off the bat. But then other than that, all of our bites came flipping. Green pumpkin, either a speed crawl or a green pumpkin tube. Speed crawl I had with a, like I said, a 1/4 ounce TMO Outdoors tungsten weight, and I had it pegged. And then I have that on a finesse heavy cover flipping hook that is made by Gamakatsu. And the tube I had was also a green pumpkin with a chartreuse dip tail and a 5/16 ounce tungsten weight with a pegged weight. And the hook I used for that is a Trocar 3/0 tube hook. I was throwing both of those on 15-pound test. I was throwing my buzzbait on 20-pound test, all fluorocarbon, Berkeley fluorocarbon. So every one of these rods that I was throwing is a 7-foot medium heavy. This is a custom pro, and this is a custom light. It's pretty much the same rod. One's got cork, one's got the wind grips. But other than that, they're basically the same rod. It's almost the same action set. I think it's 7-foot medium heavy, and that's pretty much a really good all-around rod. I'll throw spinner baits on that. I'll throw buzz baits on that. I'll flip with that. But as far as reels, one of my reels was a Hyber Mag, and the other reels were the Team Lose Light reels. I ended up with 4 fish, and I had 5 pounds, 5 ounces. It was good enough for 31st place, which is not as good as I wanted to do, but it's not horrible. I stayed in 8th place. Actually caught up to Blake a little bit. I'm 1 point behind Blake in the Angler of the Year standings, so that's always the #1 goal of the year, and obviously to keep moving up in the Angler of the Year standings. I stayed the same this time, but hopefully within the next 2 tournaments we can move up a little bit and get within that top 5, and maybe if some of the top guys struggle a little bit, maybe we'll be able to get to first. But right now it's just try and have as consistent a tournaments as we can. Obviously we want to catch a fish in the super tournament and the next 2 tournaments to make the regional. That's the #1 goal, but then the higher up in the AOI standings would be awesome. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out the game day video for Tanner's Creek. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.